I'm tracking our next weather maker, which is going to bring some light showers to parts of the area this afternoon. I'll show you who will be affected.
Isaiah Ross on trial. The man accused of killing 2 teenagers in 2022 is back in court. The next steps and the timeline for opening statements. Push for answers. State lawmakers are meeting today to talk about improving mental health treatment in North Carolina. The question they could face nearly 2 weeks after the murder of Zoe Welsh in Raleigh. WRAL News at 8 starts in less than 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us for the 8 o'clock hour. A lot to catch you up on. Let's get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a look at the rain chances and who may see rain when.
We're starting to see the clouds thicken up a bit, and our best chance for rain is going to be midday through, say, the latter part of the afternoon. Most of this rain will be from Raleigh eastward, so definitely going to be people who don't see any of it, and all of it looks light. It's not affecting our morning commute, shouldn't affect our evening commute. You can see the gray skies, though, as we look down Fayetteville Street from our Jimmy V camera, and it's not quite as cold this morning as it was yesterday. We've had a southwesterly flow for about 24 hours. That warmed us up nicely yesterday afternoon, and we're still seeing some fairly mild temperatures this morning. Nobody's dipped down below freezing. So upper 30s in the north, mostly low to mid 40s right now for the remainder of the viewing area, and we'll climb on up into the mid 50s for this afternoon. Tomorrow is going to be a very cold and windy day. We'll walk through it coming up in just a bit. Chris?
And Elizabeth, now at 8:02, live look at I-87 at Hodge Road again. This is one of those spots where at times it looks like it's smooth sailing, and at this point in time, it's not. It's very congested with a slowdown there. So occasionally you'll see the slowdown into Raleigh waver between about 5 and 15 minutes. Right now being estimated as a 5-minute delay as you're coming in from Knightdale on I-87 southbound. Elsewhere, coming into downtown Raleigh, starting to see this typical slowdown coming in from Apex at 8 minutes, 5-minute delay coming in from Durham, an 11-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest, and nothing that's keeping you from getting in on time as you're coming in from Garner. I-885 at TW Alexander, that's backed up because of folks who are trying to get onto the interstate, and I've been watching that and just noticing the slowdown this morning. Elsewhere, heading into Durham, no major delays, although a 9-minute delay coming in from NC 50 and a 5-minute delay coming in from Chapel Hill. In Durham County, a major police presence. That's where we turn to the Live Center this morning.
I'm Kirsten Clark in WRAL Live Center, where we're staying on top of breaking news in Durham County this morning. If you take a look here, this is on Highway 70 in Durham County near Sharon Road. We've got a crew on the scene here. You can see there is a large law enforcement presence, and it's several agencies. We've got the Wake County Sheriff's Office as well as the Durham County Sheriff's Office on scene. And you can see the focus here is on this car that is in the woods here off the road. We just learned new information moments ago from the Wake County Sheriff's Office. We learned that just around 6:15 this morning, a deputy attempted to stop a vehicle on I-540. That's when there was a chase that happened. This was near East Falls of Noose Road. The driver initially stopped, but then they drove off. Deputies then pursued that vehicle and continued to chase them on I-540 to US 70 when the driver crashed the car in a ditch here near Sharon Road in Durham. So again, this is where we are now. We've got a crew on the scene on the ground, as well as Sky 5 taking a look at this as well. So we're still trying to learn as much information as we can about what's happening here. We'll be sure to keep you updated as we learn more information.
Deputy, we're staying on top of breaking news right now. Firefighters are investigating what sparked a fire at a Holly Springs home. The WRAL breaking news tracker drove to the response on Market Cross Court. We're told the fire started on the back porch. 2 adults were taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. We've reached out to Holly Springs Fire for more information. In Orange County, the double murder trial of Isaiah Ross moves forward today. Ross is accused of murdering 2 teens in 2022. WRAL's Ali Calabar walks through the timeline and when opening statements could begin in this.
And today, attorneys are set to question 3 potential alternate jurors. Once they are selected, we may hear opening statements begin today in this trial of Isaiah Ross. Now, Ross is charged with the September 2022 deaths of 14-year-old Lyric Woods and 18-year-old Devin Clark in Orange County. This video shows Ross entering the courtroom Monday when he opted to reject a plea deal. The judge also determined crime scene photos of the victims will not be shown on large screens. Ross's defense told the court he is pleading self-defense. The trial moved forward with the jury selection process yesterday. Both sides asked jurors about whether they owned any firearms and their histories with guns. Today, potential alternate jurors will be questioned, and WRAL will be in the courtroom following with any updates you can follow as well on WRAL.com and in later newscasts. Reporting in Hillsborough, Alec Adlabar, WRAL News.
Police are investigating a reported stabbing in Durham. The WRAL breaking news tracker was on the scene around 3:30 this morning at the Hoover Road Apartments. We've reached out to Durham police to find out what led to this and if anyone was hurt. 3 people are out of their home after a fire in Franklin County. Franklin County Emergency Services says firefighters responded to the mobile home last night on Bryan's Way. This was north of Lewisburg. Officials say the fire spread from the back porch into the woods. NC Forestry also helped to put out the fire. No one was hurt. An apparent drive-by shooting in Fuquay-Varina sent a man to the hospital. This happened last night on McLean Street. Police believe the victim was in the passenger seat of a car when another car pulled up and someone in that car started shooting, then drove off. So far, no arrest in this case. The victim is expected to be okay. State lawmakers are bringing up questions about the criminal history of the man accused of killing Raleigh teacher Zoe Welsh. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at the state legislature this morning. Kelsey, today lawmakers want answers about how Ryan Camacho's mental health issues have been handled.
Yes, Renee, this is the first time that this specific group of lawmakers that are focused on mental health will be meeting since Raleigh teacher Zoe Welsh's death. Lawmakers here inside the legislative building have been asking a lot of questions about why the man accused of murdering her was still on the streets. Ryan Camacho is accused of breaking into Welsh's home and killing her. Welsh was a teacher at Ravenscroft School in Raleigh and a mom of 2. Camacho has a documented history of mental illness. When he faced breaking and entering charges in a separate incident last year, prosecutors asked to have Camacho committed to a mental hospital. A judge denied that request. Now, lawmakers are looking into how this was handled. Today, a legislative committee is looking for ways to improve the state's procedures for treating people with mental health issues. And you can read more about that committee and get updates right now on WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Lawmakers are also expected to talk about how rising property taxes in this growing state are hurting homeowners. Cost of living issues have been top of mind for North Carolina and the rest of the nation as the cost of goods remains elevated. Today, a bipartisan House committee will hear from organizations on how cities and counties set property tax rates and spend their money. No immediate changes are expected. The committee plans to meet monthly through the spring. For more on the committee, go to the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com. A Wayne County business is closed today after a fire broke out. These are photos of the scene posted by the Grantham Volunteer Fire Department. This happened at the Grantham Supply Store on US 13, just outside of Goldsboro, next to the hardware store. The fire department says there were no injuries reported. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Now on Facebook, the Grantham Ace Hardware says the store will remain open today while the supply store will be closed. Happening today in Raleigh, people will gather in Moore Square to honor the woman shot and killed by an ICE agent in Minnesota last week. This is just days after people across the Triangle protested following the death of Renee Good. The grassroots group Siembra NC is organizing tonight's vigil, which is scheduled to start at 7. It plans to honor Good and other people affected by ICE operations across the country. The DOJ says it will not be starting a civil rights probe after the death of Renee Good. The department says it does not see a basis for an investigation. The FBI is still looking into that deadly shooting to determine whether the ICE agent acted in self-defense. State investigation officials have confirmed they are looking into the spending of the former Cary town manager. Where this investigation stands after the state auditor indicated that some of Sean Stiegel's actions may have been criminal. Brother saves brother, the lesson that a 14-year-old boy in our area learned at school that helped in a scary situation.
And yes, rain is in our forecast for this afternoon, but look at how much, less than 1/10 of an inch across the entire viewing area. I'll walk you through when we could see it. 8:13, we take a look at our hour-by-hour rainfall chances. It really starts to pick up by around lunchtime or so, but ends by the time we get to the evening commute. Most of the rain we see today will be from the Triangle area eastward. And as I showed you just a minute ago, I mean, we're looking at less than 1/10 of an inch, so it's not going to be much. We take a live look at Apex, definitely starting to see the clouds thickening up a little bit. It's not as cold as it was yesterday, so a little bit of a reprieve right now. You may not need your heaviest coat heading out the door, but you might want to grab a raincoat or a jacket, a rain jacket or an umbrella just to kind of cover the bases. Exercising outside this morning looks fine. Temperatures are on the milder side in the mid-50s for this afternoon, but again, you might be dodging a few showers. Coming up, we're going to talk about the bitter cold that sets in tomorrow. Chris?
And as much as we need the rain, you tend to not want it during the morning commute. It is dry out there, but US 1 north at NC 55. This is in Apex, past that Handy Hugo's gas station there and the Bojangles. So getting onto US 1 is going to be a little bit of a challenge as you see the backup there. This is typical for this time of morning. About a 4-minute delay coming in from Apex or Cary and heading into Raleigh. We'll show you some of the other slowdown spots coming up in your more complete traffic report in about 5 minutes.
Chris, thank you. The SBI has confirmed it is investigating the spending habits of Cary's former town manager. Sean Stiegel resigned last month. A state audit suggests possible criminal activity linked to his credit card transactions. The SBI will review dozens of Stiegel's purchases over the years and decide if his spending goes beyond mismanagement.
Our standard is in any case is going to be beyond a reasonable doubt. And often what we see is people, purchasing trips, purchasing, things for their own homes, spending money for their personal benefit that really doesn't have any legitimate business purpose.
The SBI investigation will take place over the next few weeks. The Newton Grove police chief has resigned after being arrested. Greg Warren is charged with secret peeping and taking indecent liberties with a minor. He was arrested last week and put on leave immediately. Court documents show he went into a victim's bedroom while they were sleeping and took photos of them. Warren was the police chief since 2019. The DOJ is pushing for lawyers to work faster as they process pages from the Jeffrey Epstein files. That's according to recent court filing and emails from Department of Justice officials. A recent email from the head of the criminal division asks the team to review about 1,000 pages a day. As of last week, officials say around 209,000 pages have been reviewed so far. The DOJ is working on redactions after recent law mandated that the Epstein files be made public. Meanwhile, former President Bill Clinton could be held in contempt of Congress. Clinton did not show up for a House committee hearing yesterday about the Jeffrey Epstein case. His wife, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, is supposed to appear today. Her lawyers say that's not going to happen. Her legal team argued that subpoenas from the committee are not valid and cannot be enforced. State officials in South Carolina say 6 fully vaccinated people have contracted measles. This news comes as the western part of that state deals with an outbreak. Concerns are rising in South Carolina's classrooms as cases increase. Our affiliate spoke with a man who says his wife is an elementary school teacher. He says she got the virus despite being fully vaccinated, which is rare.
One of the children in her class was diagnosed with the measles. They was notified of that. After she was notified, she went and had a test done that come back in a few days later that told her she had no immunity.
The state health department in South Carolina says cases have doubled over the past week. More than 430 cases have been reported so far. Officials say the spike is due to holiday activities and lagging vaccination rates. Today, we're expected to get another look at how inflation is affecting companies, which could affect the prices you pay. The Producer Price Index is set to be released at 8:30. This tracks the prices of which producers and manufacturers receive for their goods from retailers and distributors. You could pay more if prices for them get too high and they decide to make you pay more. This report comes after the release of the Consumer Price Index, which showed overall inflation at 2.7%. Education Secretary Linda McMahon is expected to be in Fayetteville today. She'll be visiting a local school there as part of the Department of Education's History Rocks tour. This tour coincides with America's 250th birthday. We are following breaking news right now in Durham, where we are seeing a large law enforcement presence after a multi-county chase. Adley Kadlubar just arrived on scene on US 70 in the WRAL breaking news tracker. And Allie, deputies right now are looking for two men who ran from a car that veered off the road.
Yes, this is an active search happening right now. And what we're seeing is just the main focus right here is this car that we've seen deputies investigate. Also, we're seeing them blocking one of these lanes right here, or the shoulder at least. And we see a large backup of traffic as well. Now, we do know from Wake County Sheriff's Office that they are searching for two people after a vehicle pursuit, after a chase. Now, this all started around 6 this morning. A deputy tried to pull over a vehicle on I-540 East near Falls of Neuse Road. The driver initially stopped, but then kept going. And so deputies tried to continue that chase after that vehicle. And then the driver then crashed in this ditch. And we're seeing that car right now and off Sharon Road in Durham. Now, the driver and one passenger did take off. One of the other passengers stayed. And right now we are just trying to learn more about this active chase, this active search happening right now. We do have Sky 5 with a look as well. We're going to give you that in the next 15 minutes. Reporting live in Durham, Allie Kadlubar, WRAL News.
Allie, thank you for that update. Cumberland County Schools has approved a revised plan on AI in the classroom. It allows AI only for ethical and educational purposes. The policy also bans deepfakes and cyberbullying. Staff will monitor AI use and enforce restricted zones. The policy states that misuse can lead to discipline or loss of technology access. Time for a check on our weather now. Beautiful skies out there, and we're going to see more clouds today. Elizabeth, we need a soaking rain, but this will not be a day that we will see that.
No, this is not. You would think with this nice, powerful front, but we're just not going to have enough moisture in place as this front comes through. Now, this front is going to deliver a very cold day for tomorrow and into Friday. Out ahead of it, we have a surge of moisture coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico, but it's just not going to be enough to bring us a whole lot of rain. Our rain chances will be mainly from the Triangle area eastward. And of course, the biggest thing we'll see from this front is the cold and the wind behind it. We're clouding up now, and by the time we get to 11 or 12, we'll start to see some light patchy rain, mainly from the Triangle area south and east. If you're Durham northward, westward, you may not see any rain out of this at all. It's over by the evening commute, and then maybe another quick shower in our southeastern counties right around or just after midnight. And then the cold air arrives, and we're not likely to see it arriving in time to change that precipitation into anything frozen. It'll be very light anyway to start with. We're just looking at less than 1/10 of an inch, and that may be the same thing on Sunday. Sunday's system is starting to evolve, and we'll be watching it very carefully. We could see a quick shower around the middle of the day Saturday with a front, and then possibly a coastal low that develops on Sunday. We are looking tonight at the potential for a chance of some snow, maybe up to an inch or so in the highest elevations of our mountains, and then it increases up around New York with a bit of lake effect snow. We'll have cold air in place on Sunday and the potential for a coastal low to develop, and that can be a pretty good snow pattern for us. We'll back things up and start with Saturday. We're going to see this cold front coming through. It may bring us just a quick shot of a shower or two. It doesn't look like anything very significant. And then if the low develops and moves close enough to the coast or farther inland, we could actually see some snow. But a lot of things have to come together for that to happen. It's something that we'll be watching for Sunday. In the meantime, our biggest weather maker will be the cold air and the wind that we see Thursday. Thursday night will drop down to 18. That's what we'll feel like on Friday. And we'll talk more about the wind chill to go with it coming up. Chris?
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL traffic center. Still some slow slowdowns there on I-885 at TW Alexander. You see the folks who are getting onto the interstate. It's just kind of causing that backup that we typically see at this point in the morning. Heading into downtown Durham, you see that 19-minute delay that's likely being caused by the police presence that we're following on US 70. Outside of that, there's nothing that's going to make you terribly late, aside from a 7-minute delay coming in from Hillsborough. US 1 at NC 55 in Apex, that is one of those places where we see things slowing down at times. About a 4-minute delay heading into downtown Raleigh. If you're coming in from Cary, if you're coming in from Apex, that delay is a little bit longer than that. At times, it's been close to about a 10-minute delay. That's something that we've also seen coming in from places like Wake Forest this morning.
Kicking that cold, many people often wonder whether they should go see a doctor when experiencing cold and flu symptoms. 5 on your side shows you how you can heal at home.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
It is 8:26. I'm Renee Chu. A dry start to our Wednesday morning, but Elizabeth says this afternoon some people might see some rain.
Some lucky people might see a whole 1/10 of an inch. Boy, we need so much more than that, but you know, it is what it is. 39 in Wilson, and you can see the clouds. Notice the wind. We do have a southwesterly wind. It's a little breezy. We'll have gusts this afternoon, but we stay on the mild side. Durham's cloudy at 43, and a little bit of sun trying to peek through in Fayetteville at 40, but we'll continue to cloud up. We'll have our best chance of rain from Raleigh south and east between around lunchtime and 4 o'clock. And then the big thing tomorrow will be the cold, windy conditions. Chris?
And Elizabeth, this morning, a live look at I-885 at TW Alexander, where you see the backups there. Trying to get onto the interstate is taking a little bit of time, something that we usually see at this point in the morning. In terms of delay times heading into Durham, they're pretty minimal if you're coming in from the north, coming in from Raleigh, from Chapel Hill or Hillsborough. But if you're coming in from NC 50 and along US 70, expect some major backups. Renee's got the latest on that story right now.
That's right, Chris. Law enforcement is searching for 2 people after a vehicle multi-county chase ended on US 70 near Durham. This is a live look from the WRAL breaking news tracker near Miami Boulevard. Investigators say a deputy tried to stop a car in Wake County when the driver drove off. The driver and a passenger jumped out and ran after the car crashed, and they're still looking for those 2. Today, the double murder trial of Isaiah Ross moves forward in Orange County. Ross is charged with the 2022 deaths of 2 teenagers. 12 jurors were chosen yesterday. Attorneys are set to question potential alternate jurors today, and opening statements could begin after that. We'll have much more news coming up on Fox 50.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Suspects on the run. U.S. Marshals, along with Durham and Wake County deputies, looking for 2 men who ran after crashing during a chase. This is a live look from the WRAL breaking news tracker on US 70. Just how far the chase went.
And our next weather maker is a strong front coming out of the north that will deliver some very cold air tomorrow. In the meantime, ahead of it, we'll have some light patchy showers. I'll show you who will see them.
Plus, trial moving forward. The jury has been seated in the case against the man accused of killing 2 teenagers in 2022. The next steps and when we could hear opening statements. High property taxes. Rising costs for homes are making it hard for Triangle homeowners to keep up. The steps lawmakers are taking to give you some relief. Thank you so much for joining us here at 8:30. I'm Renee Chu. We have a mix of sun and clouds out there, and later this afternoon we'll have a lot more clouds, and some of you might see some rain. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking our rain chances for today.
It's pretty minor. We're looking at right around lunchtime up till around, say, 4 or 5 o'clock. Our eastern counties seeing some patchy light rain. It won't be a whole lot. I'll show you some actual numbers coming up in just a little bit. But keep your umbrella handy if you're south and east of the Triangle. A much bigger impact for us is going to be what happens tomorrow. The wind is going to pick up. You can see the whirligigs here. And Wilson starting to spin lightly. But tomorrow we can see gusts up to around 30 miles per hour. Right now our wind is southwest at 9 and our temperature is at 43. So it's on the cool side, and the clouds have rolled in ahead of the rain that we'll see later on. Upper 30s to low 40s is what you'll see heading out the door, and we will climb into the mid 50s this afternoon. The Arctic blast takes a hold tomorrow. I'll show you the wind chill through the day and when we could dip into the teens. Coming up, Chris.
And Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL traffic center, still at that slow going part of the morning commute, especially on some of our more major routes as we head into the 9 a.m. hour. Still a little congested, but after that, it turns a little more smooth sailing. It is pretty congested in both lanes on I-40 at Lake Wheeler Road. This is right around exit 297. And you see both the east and westbound lanes have plenty of cars on them, but nothing that's causing any major delays, at least in that part of the area. Down to a 4-minute delay from Apex, just a 2-minute delay from Durham and Nightdale coming into Raleigh. It's still an 8-minute delay from Wake Forest, but that's nothing that's terribly odd. And hey, nothing making you late coming in from Garner and Johnston County this morning. It is backed up pretty heavily on I-885 at TW Alexander, and that again is fairly typical. But elsewhere heading into Durham, minimal delay from Chapel Hill and Hillsborough. Minimal delay coming in from Wade Avenue connecting onto I-40, but more delays around US 70 where we've been following some breaking news this Wednesday morning.
Breaking news right now in Durham. U.S. Marshals, along with Durham and Wake County deputies, are searching for two men they say ran from a crash after a multi-county chase. Ali Calabar is live at the scene on US 70 from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. And Ali, there's a tow truck there that got there behind you.
Yes, and we just saw that tow truck pull the car out of the ditch, and it is right there, kind of in between all of that traffic, and we can kind of see the front end has some damage. It has pulled over to the side, the shoulder. There it is. You can see it, the damage to the front end. Not sure if that was already there or if this is from this crash. Of course, we're working to find out more information. Here's what we do know from the Wake County Sheriff's Office, and we want to show you this video from Sky 5 of this car. It was the main focus of this investigation. Now, this started around 6:15 a.m. whenever a deputy tried to pull over this car off of I-540 East near Falls of Neuse Road. The driver stopped at first, but then kept going, and then that chase proceeded for about at least 15 miles. I counted all the way from I-540 to US 70. This is near Sharon Road. The driver and a passenger ran away, and a second passenger stayed back. And so that's who they're searching for, the passenger. They're also searching for the driver right now. We are working to find out if they have been caught. We are keeping you updated right here on WRAL throughout the morning. Reporting live in Durham County, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
And that stretch of US 70 is near Sharon Road there in Durham. This morning, firefighters are investigating what sparked a fire at a Holly Springs home. This is video of that scene from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker on Market Cross Court. We're told the fire started on the back porch. Two adults were taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. We've reached out to Holly Springs Fire for more information. Police are investigating a reported stabbing in Durham. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was at the Hoover Road Apartments around 3:30 this morning. We've reached out to police to find out what led to this and if anyone was hurt. Today, the double murder trial of Isaiah Ross moves forward in Orange County. Ross is charged with the September 2022 deaths of two teens, 14-year-old Lyric Woods and 18-year-old Devin Clark. 12 main jurors were selected yesterday. Attorneys are set to question 3 potential alternate jurors today. Once that is done, opening statements may begin. WRAL will be in the courtroom. Police in Fuquay Varina are working to make an arrest after a shooting that sent a man to the hospital. This happened last night on McLean Street. Police believe the victim was in the passenger seat of a car when another driver pulled up next to them and started shooting. The shooter then drove off. Officers say they don't have information yet about that car or person. The victim is expected to be okay. 3 people are out of their home after fire in Franklin County. Franklin County Emergency Services says firefighters responded to the scene last night on Bryant's Way north of Lewisburg. Officials say the fire spread from the back porch of a mobile home into the woods. NC Forestry helped put out the fire. No one was hurt. The man charged with murdering Ravenscroft school teacher Zoe Welsh was previously diagnosed with schizophrenia. That's according to court documents from 2019. This came up as part of a motion to determine whether Ryan Macacho has the capacity to proceed in a case against him. The document shows he refused to meet with his lawyer and mental health professionals, refused medication, and suffered hallucinations. Camacho pleaded guilty in that case. He's expected back in court on his murder charge on January 26th. Today, a legislative committee on mental health plans will meet for the first time since lawmakers demanded more information about Welsh's murder. Wake County representatives have asked the committee to find out why Camacho was not committed to a psychiatric facility when he faced breaking and entering charges last year. The committee is looking for ways to improve the state's procedures for treating people with mental health issues. You can read more about the committee and updates throughout the day on WRAL.com. As the state grows, rising costs for property taxes are making it difficult for homeowners to keep up. Today, lawmakers will meet to discuss how to help with that. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at the state legislative building this morning as a bipartisan group of lawmakers works to find answers.
Today, North Carolina lawmakers will talk about how they can offer relief for your property taxes. Organizations will be meeting with a bipartisan group of lawmakers here inside the legislative building in a few hours. Polling shows cost of living is top of mind for a lot of people as inflation has gone up. The housing price index for North Carolina rose to an all-time high last year, according to federal data. Unlike income tax and sales tax revenue, property tax revenue doesn't go to the state. That money stays in cities and counties, helping fund local schools, parks, police, and more. Individual cities and counties, not the state legislature, are in charge of setting local property tax rates. Some local officials are concerned state lawmakers could start second-guessing their decisions.
We have to look at that too, about what actually these dollars that they're bringing in from these property taxes are actually getting spent on the local level.
In Wake County, we're growing by 66 people a day. And so I think that this board in particular has been very intentional about how we allocate dollars.
We're not expecting to see any immediate changes today, just discussion. This committee will meet every month through the spring. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Happening this morning in the WRAL Live Center, we're hearing from President Trump just hours before Vice President J.D. Vance is scheduled to meet with Denmark's foreign minister and Greenlandic officials in Washington this afternoon. President Trump saying anything less than having Greenland in the United States' hands is unacceptable. He voiced this on his Truth Social account, and we have that post here. You can see him saying the United States needs Greenland for the purpose of national security. He says it is vital for the Golden Dome that we are building. NATO should be leading the way for us to get it. And he says in all caps here, if we don't, Russia or China will, and that is not going to happen. All of this as, meanwhile, Greenland residents want the U.S. to back off. We, of course, will continue to follow this as that meeting proceeds in Washington this afternoon.
Happening today in Raleigh, people will gather in Moore Square to honor the woman shot and killed by an ICE agent in Minnesota last week. This is just days after people across the Triangle protested following the death of Renee Good. The organization Siembra NC is hosting tonight's vigil, which is scheduled to start at 7. The group says it plans to honor Good and other people affected by ICE operations across the country. Tensions are boiling over in Minnesota with battles between protesters and federal officers unfolding in the streets. Officers appear to have used tear gas and pepper spray on protesters. This is all less than 2 blocks from where Renee Good was shot and killed. The Department of Homeland Security argues protesters are impeding law enforcement. At least 3 prosecutors in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota have resigned over their concerns with the direction of the investigation into the shooting. Protesters say they are planning an economic blackout next Friday, January 23rd. A Fuquay-Varina man is charged with animal cruelty after 9 dogs had to be removed from his home. Wake County officials say the dogs were being kept in severe and unsanitary conditions. 64-year-old Michael Duke is accused of tormenting the dogs and depriving them of food. The dogs are now being cared for by Wake County Animal Services. This morning, we'll learn whether the state capitol Holiday Inn in Raleigh will be up for consideration for the National Register of Historic Places. Raleigh's Historic Development Commission is meeting right now to discuss whether to nominate the hotel. Last month, City Council approved plans to design it as a local historic landmark. That designation helped ensure that the round building will not be torn down. 2 men's basketball teams from Tobacco Road are on the West Coast for matchups tonight. UNC will play at Stanford. That game starts at 9 p.m. And Duke will play at Cal. That tip-off is scheduled for 11 p.m. Kicking your winter cold. 5 on Your Side shares the things you may already have in your cabinets to help you or your loved ones feel better. Plus, our Teacher of the Week has been in the classroom for just 3 years. We'll show you why she's known for making learning fun and creative. And here's a live look at Pinehurst right now. Arctic air will return to North Carolina. Ahead, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner shows you when the gustiest wind blows and where temperatures fall into the teens tomorrow.
.45, you may have noticed that the clouds have started to roll in. By lunchtime, counties, especially from Raleigh south and eastward, could see a little bit of light patchy rain. None of it's going to be heavy, and it doesn't look like it will last all the way through the evening commute. This is a look at Chapel Hill, and you can see the gray skies there. Chapel Hill, Durham, on up toward Roxborough, you may not see any of this rain for today. Town by town, temperatures, they're above freezing right now. 39 in Holly Springs and in Rocky Mount, 43 in Durham, 40 in Fayetteville, 43 degrees in Garner. We will warm up into the mid-50s, but in some places you may choose to take your workout inside. Mid-50s is not too bad for being outside, so take your chances. But tomorrow you may want to move it inside, mostly because of the cold wind. I'll show you more about that coming up, Chris.
And Elizabeth, we have a live look this morning at I-40 at Lake Wheeler Road, and everything seems to be flowing pretty smoothly. It's your typical flow of traffic at this point in the morning, so some good news on both the east and westbound lanes there. In terms of drive times heading into Raleigh, the only really significant delay is one that's actually kind of normal. Coming in from Wake Forest, it's a 9-minute delay. Nothing from Durham, Apex, Garner, or Knightdale that's going to make you terribly late this morning.
Chris, thank you. Our Teacher of the Week always knew she wanted to be an educator. WRAL's Ken Smith takes us to Zebulon Gifted and Talented Magnet Elementary School to surprise this well-deserving teacher.
So how would I put that into an equation? Writer.
Kaylee Norris is living out a childhood dream every day in her classroom.
We say 7? Yes.
When Norris was around the age of her current students, she shared how the experience of reading to first graders made her want to become a teacher.
One day I went to a different class than the one that I had normally gone to, and I came back and the kids were like, "Oh my gosh, I missed you." And so it gave me that sense of purpose. And then as I got older, I wanted to do things that would make a difference.
That sense of purpose is how Norris approaches each day.
So what was our answer for number 4?
Making learning interesting and sometimes delicious, like the time she used Oreo cookies to demonstrate the different phases of the moon, and the kids enjoyed a treat afterwards, according to her nomination letter. What does teaching do for you?
I know that I'm serving these kids the best that I can, and some of these kids, you don't know what's going on at home, and sometimes school is their outlet, their escape, and I like being a part of it.
Ms. Norris, hello. You are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Give her a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And Ms. Norris also teaches sign language as an elective. If you'd like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com and enter Teacher of the Week in the search box. Edgecombe County confirmed the first flu death in the county. The death was an adult, not a child. The health director says flu activity is on the rise. It has not peaked yet. This comes as our local hospital systems have seen a sharp spike in flu cases. The Edgecombe County Health Department offers free flu vaccines Monday through Friday. And as we enter the peak of cold and flu season, many of you are probably asking yourselves when you should or should not go to the doctor when you're experiencing symptoms. 5 on Your Side's Keely Arthur shares some ways you might be able to kick your cold from home.
These are all things you've probably heard before, but here's a reminder if you feel a winter cold coming on. A spoonful of honey mixed in hot tea can ease congestion, coughing, and soothe throat pain. Gargling salt water can also help. Chicken soup is another relief option. It's hydrating and provides electrolytes. And don't forget the humidifier.
A cool mist humidifier can be a great option since dry air can worsen nasal congestion. So you want to set your humidifier to 30 to 50% humidity, which should produce enough moisture.
You can find a good one for under $50, like this Aqua Oasis on Amazon. And when it's time for sleep, an extra pillow or two can make a big difference to keep your head elevated and let your sinuses drain. If you decide to take medicine, choose wisely.
If you see any oral medications with phenylephrine on the store shelves, you should probably skip them. Research has found that this drug really doesn't work any better than a placebo for relieving nasal congestion. The FDA has even proposed removing it as an active ingredient from cold medicines.
You should also be wary of nasal decongestant sprays. You can use them for a couple of days, but using them for more than 72 hours can cause rebound nasal congestion. Now to the question so many of us ask ourselves when we're feeling under the weather. When should you see your doctor?
It's a good idea to get checked out for flu or COVID-19 when you first get sick, since antiviral treatments are available. Otherwise, you'll want to see a doctor if you have problems like trouble breathing, a fever that doesn't go away for more than 4 days, or other symptoms like a cough that don't go away or get significantly better after 10 days or so.
Other ways to stay healthy in the winter, no surprise, eat right. Walk about 30 minutes a day and get plenty of rest. A 2021 study found people who got less than 5 hours of sleep a night were 44% more likely to report a head or chest cold than those who slept 7 to 8 hours. And if you haven't gotten your flu shot just yet, it's not too late. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
No doubt the winter gunk is getting around. Here with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, and we see the light rain in the forecast. Don't get too excited about that, though. It will be pretty minimal rain, Elizabeth.
It will. It's not everybody either. Probably only going to see it, say, from Raleigh eastward. So there'll be a group of people that see a little bit of light, patchy rain. Nobody's going to have to deal with it during the evening commute. We'll have some light rain this afternoon, tapering off before 5 o'clock. The big weather maker coming our way is the cold front that'll pass through overnight tonight. It will deliver windy conditions tomorrow with gusts up to 35 miles per hour and much colder temperatures during the day Thursday, and we'll wake up to temperatures in the teens on Friday morning. Here's a look at the big picture. The showers taking place down to the south. Already watching some of that colder air spilling in from Canada along that cold front. Cloudy skies out there currently, and we're looking at the potential for some light showers starting right around lunchtime. You can see that from Raleigh to Southern Pines to Fayetteville, and then Rocky Mount and Goldsboro around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And then gray skies during the evening commute. When the front itself comes through right around midnight, there may be a few light showers with it up until around 2 a.m. And then the cold air arrives. We're not going to see the two meeting and bringing us any wintry precipitation. The rain will be over before the coldest air arrives. Will likely be nice and clear for Thursday, but very cold and very windy. You can see a nice breeze right now out of the southwest around 10 miles per hour here in Wilson at the Whirligig Park. You can see again, southwest winds around 9, 43 is our current temperature. We'll climb into the mid-50s, even with clouds and a few showers this afternoon. That puts us pretty close to normal. But the Polar Express arrives tomorrow. We're going to see a deep dive of cold air across our area. It bounces up Saturday and then dives right back in over us on Sunday and Monday. And we might have some precipitation that matches up with that. More on that in a second. On Thursday, tomorrow, really gusty with winds gusting up to 35 miles per hour. So all day long, it's going to feel like mid to upper 20s to low 30s. That's as good as it's going to get during the day on Thursday. Our normal low is 32. Friday morning, we wake up to 18 degrees, and we're looking at everybody in the 20s, anywhere from 15 to 18 degrees Friday morning. You might think that's close to a record, but it isn't. The record is 3 for Raleigh on Friday morning. After that, we have the potential for some wintry precipitation, and we're going to talk more about that as it gets closer. We'll be right back.